He leads us all the way, playing proper football, the Sheff United way. Ale, 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 ale.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sheff United Way. Today, we're going to be doing a match preview for Sheffield United versus Leeds United, the Yorkshire Derby, the top of the table Yorkshire Derby as well. And we don't do many of these live streams for match previews. We're only going to do them for the big ones. We did them for the Wednesday game. We'll probably do it for the Wednesday game again. But we've got Leeds United, like I say, top of the table clash, 8 p.m. kickoff on Sky. Can we wait for it, Joe?
No, I can't. Although, Nick, if I'm being totally honest, I think Burnley drop points tomorrow, at which point both our managers go, let's just like leave it, and it'll be 0-0. And it'll be put up as like the best the Championship has to offer, and it'll be a terrible game. So.
Yeah, no injuries, no bookings, no sendings off. Let's just agree right now that that's going to happen, okay?
Yeah. I think that's genuinely could happen.
Give over. No, there's no chance. But do you know what? Ollie did a video on this channel a few days ago talking about how we combat Leeds' attack and stuff like that. And so many Leeds United fans in the comments were saying, well, half were saying we're going to absolutely hammer you, and half were saying, let's just kind of draw this game. And it's a possibility. Like, there's three options. We win, we lose, we draw. And yeah, it could be worse if we both draw.
Yeah. I to be honest, mate, I'd take it. I'd have taken it. I said I'd take a draw from both you and Sunderland. So the fact we got 3 points in the manner that we did, if we were to come to Bramall Lane and get a point, I'd be more than happy, because I feel that the gap is like Sunderland are done now, so it's all about increasing that gap over Burnley, and I don't think they will win enough games of football. So I think we'll be all right, mate.
To be honest, mate, I think that Sunderland are, other than yourselves, the most exciting attacking side. So if anyone can go on a run of winning games, it could be Sunderland. But I think you might be right. Obviously, you guys are more confident that Sunderland are out of it because you're 2 more points in front of them than we are. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about this game. I probably shouldn't be, because for me and for a lot of United fans, they think it's a bit of a free hit. Like, everyone's expecting us to lose to Leeds at home, which yeah. Well, the bookies are saying that Leeds are odds on to win this game. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one, and it's gonna be a weird one, because when was the last time we played each other when we're both top of the league? As I've just said that, maybe it was the last time we played each other.
Yeah, I think so. When we beat you 1-0 at your place, and then obviously, I don't know, were we first and second then? I can't remember. And then obviously, I think when you beat us at Ellen Road, I'd assume we were there or thereabouts as well when Chris Basham scored, Basham arriving and all that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Don't worry, we'll get there. I know you're dying to talk about it, but we'll get there. I think Norwich were practically top of the league for a lot of that season. Yeah. They were fantastic, and I wonder what their manager's doing from that season these days.
No, right?
Might be running away with the league again, but. Yes. We'll get into it anyway. Let's just have a quick word from our sponsors, Panenka Bar and Grill, which is situated just off Bramall Lane on St Mary's roundabout. I'll be there straight from work on Monday night, so make sure you come and join me. And secondly, Parrot Peel, the virtual band, who are huge sponsors and huge supporters of the Sheff United Way. So make sure you go and support them by going to parrotpeel.com, or you can listen to them on Spotify and Apple too. Now, Joe, first and foremost, give you a shout out. You are Joe Wayman from the Just Joe Football Show. If you want to go and check out Joe's stuff, he's also in the line of the title of this YouTube video right now. It actually feels weird talking to you, just me and you, because normally we've got the lubrication of Hal Stewart, haven't we?
We do. He's missed. He was supposed to be on the White Rose rivals tonight as well, talking up this game. He was missed. And I look forward to seeing his face. And sorry.
And the rest
his
of him.
face very soon.
And his voice. He's got a better voice.
His voice as well. His voice.
So let's talk about previous games. So I'll give you a quick rundown. You've probably seen some of the results, what's happened, because obviously we're all keeping an eye on each other at the moment. The last 3 games, the Blades beat Pompey 2-1 at home, very unconvincingly. Then we beat Borough 3-1 quite convincingly. And then we've just beaten Luton unconvincingly. So right now, it's a bit of a weird one. You've probably heard this from a lot of Sheffield United fans and heard it on YouTube and podcasts and stuff, that where we don't really know what to expect from Sheffield United right now, because we are winning games ugly, and we're just finding a way at the moment. Like that Borough game was something completely different. We just turned up, and we turned up in a big way. And we would have to turn up like that to give you a bit of a game. But like I say, we're winning games of football. We're second in the league until you beat Sunderland the other night. We were top of the league, and we've actually accrued just as many points as you have. Obviously, it's just the fact that we started on -2, which actually I think is a good thing, because it made us start really, really quickly. And we obviously we've been.
You've basically got the same points as us. That's what Chris Wilder's telling folks, right?
It's true. It is true.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's not.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've won more games than you.
Okay, you're not better than us, though.
Didn't say that. Didn't say those words. Did not enter my mouth and come back out the other side. So
I have watched a bit of you, Nick, recently.
What about Sheffield United, though?
Huh?
Oh, what about Sheffield United, though? I need to stop doing these jokes with you, because the last time, or many, many moons ago, I made a joke, and neither you or Hal got it, and I just looked really, really stupid. You're about Patrick Bamford, and he's actually still there, which is crazy.
Yeah, which is mad, isn't it? Yeah, he's still there, still clinging on. He's got one more year left, so he'll probably still be there in the Premier League as well. I've watched you of late, and admittedly, I thought you were good against Middlesbrough. I thought they were really bad. I think Carrick's going to end up getting the sack. But I watched you against Luton, first half, absolutely shocking. Obviously, he brings on O'Hare. He gets, not that he knew much about it, but he gets the assist. I do like O'Hare. He's got a face that I don't like, but I actually like what he does on the pitch, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's one of them. He's a bit like Grealish in that respect, that kind of vibe. Yeah, you're getting through. I do, however, think that Chris Wilder is overthinking it, dropping players, changing them, doing this. And when you came to Welham Road, I was really surprised with how he went about it and how defensive he went. So I'm really intrigued to see what he does on Monday night. Will he go, no, you know what, we're just as good, I'm going to try and impose our game on them? Or will he be a lot more cautious, because Leeds have been very good of late? It's interesting to see.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the thing is, you probably are right in the fact that Wilder overthought it the first time. And I've heard lots and lots of Leeds. I've been well versed coming into this video, because the video that we did the other day, another shout out to Ollie, did a fantastic job. I'm reading so many comments from Leeds fans, so I've got so much Leeds stuff in my brain right now, a little bit too much, if I'm being perfectly honest. But a lot of Leeds fans saying that you guys were a lot worse than what you are now the first time we played.
Yes.
And we gave you a lot of respect in the first game, maybe a little too much, as you've just alluded to.
Yeah.
I think he dropped, I'm trying to remember back now, I think he dropped Raksaki for that game after he'd had a really, really good game, the one before. And it definitely felt like we'd gone really, really ultra defensive.
He played Shackleton.
Did he?
Yeah, because it was almost like he'd gone, well, he used to play for him, so he'll have a good game. Very retro manager vibe, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought, why has he played Shackleton? So, yeah, it wasn't great at all. It really surprised me in that game, to be honest.
Yeah. I think that we expected him not necessarily to go for it, but I don't think we expected him to be as defensive as what he was. And I think it almost worked. Obviously, he scored a really well-worked corner, a nice one from the training ground. And I think we stayed in the game for them. I don't really think we conceded many chances before that, or not any big chances. But I think what he was going for was stay in the game, and then bring a couple of attackers on late on to try and nick it 1-0. And yeah, obviously it's a whole different ball game this time. Like, we've got a lot more players, a hell of a lot more players who not necessarily gelled. And we're second in the division. Won a lot of points. You guys seem to be on the cusp of running away with it, in my opinion. So it's going to be a really, really interesting one. So how are you guys playing right now, would you say?
Very good. I think, to be honest, the last few weeks have been the best football that we've seen under Farker. Even if we go back to last season, I think last season he relied on moments, a lot of individual players, whereas this team is more balanced throughout. Dan James is probably playing the best football of his career. Piro's finding the back of the net. We've got a midfield absolute metronome in Autanaka, who's just been phenomenal. Jayden Bogle has been, he's been so good. He's been so good, Nick. I just think, look, Burnley got a lot of unfair criticism from some sections of the fan base. The next game we play Cardiff, we win 7-0. Dan James is talking about post-match saying, normally we'd take our foot off, let them come on to us. We just thought we'd go for it. We could have arguably scored 7 against Coventry the week after. So I think if I could witness that, I said, you know what? These lads are actually good enough, like, for me to not worry too much.
Yeah,
I'm going to let the shackles off, if you like. So I don't think it'll be like that against Hughes. It wasn't against Sunderland, but I just think right now we're playing the best football that we've seen under the manager since he's been in here. So, we are purring, if you like. So it's great. It's exciting. I'm actually really excited for the game. I am so excited for it.
Yeah, me too, in all honesty. I do think it could be a little bit of a free hit for the Blades. Like I said earlier, us just expecting to get rolled over. Everyone's expecting us to get rolled over.
Really? Even like most? Hal surely isn't, because he told me they're going to win the league.
When did he say that?
On the show that we do last week.
Last week, Hal said they were going to win the league. He is a happy clapper, mate. He's a happy clapper for days. You know he is. I know he is. He might even still be in the comments. I'm giving him some for a reason. But no, I honestly think that it's just going to be exciting. It's under the lights. They're always better under the lights, aren't they? I don't like a weekend without football, or no Sheffield United game. The team that you support, you should be going and watching them on a Saturday, 3 p.m. But yeah, it's the biggest game of the weekend. It's the biggest game of the league right now. So I'm going to quickly run you through what I think our team is going to be for this game. Okay. So I'm expecting to see Michael Cooper in goal, obviously, because he is, if not the best goalkeeper in the division. I think he's probably one of the only players that we've got on you right now. Michael Cooper is such a great goalkeeper. And I'm not saying it's a fantastic find, because I think everybody who watched League One football, who watched him playing goal for Plymouth, knew how good he was. But yeah, fantastic goalkeeper. I think the thing is, this is not necessarily a predicted 11 or my 11. It's just I've had a stab, because Wilder could do anything in this game. He could go Alfie Gilchrist at right back, because he's a more defensive right back than Harry Clark. Enel will play. There's no doubt about that. I've gone for Rob Holding here. I don't know why. Hal's in my brain, seeped into my brain, because he keeps saying about Rob Holding's going to come in at some point, and it could be this game for that experience. But he's clearly not played football for a long time. Harrison Burrows will, of course, play left back, because he's been fantastic this season. This is where it could be different, because I've gone for Vinny Souza, Peck, Raksaki, Harmer, O'Hare, and Campbell, whereas that looks quite an attacking side. Raksaki is probably one of the most exciting players in our team, if not the division. Same with Gus Harmer. We're not 100% sure whether he's going to be fit. There's Callum O'Hare in there, who's obviously an attacking player, and then you've got your Vinny Souza and Sidney Peck behind them. But it could easily be Chowdhury in there and making in a 3-man sort of defensive midfield line, and then kind of sacrificing Raksaki or O'Hare. Harmer, again, could be injured for this game. We're expecting Tom Cannon to miss out too. We've not seen him since he left Bramall Lane with a boot on. Well, not a football boot, one of those big daft moon boots. So I'm expecting to see Tyrese Campbell up top on his own, being supported by either Raksaki, Harmer, or O'Hare. But it could easily be, Joe, that we go 5 at the back in this one, and Wilder's overthinking it and going ultra defensive. So it could be Jack Robinson in there, sat next to Holding and El Ahmedhodzic. But we don't have any other centre backs other than that. So I would be surprised if he went 5 at the back in this game. Do you expect Wilder to go ultra defensive?
I honestly don't know. Because I think he'll be burnt from what happened at Ellen Road. And I think with him being a big staunch Sheffield fan and all that sort of stuff, I think he'll think, you know what, I gave them too much respect. I think he'll probably recognise that and probably say, do you know what, I'm gonna have a go. What have I got to lose, kind of thing. So I don't know. He could, like you said.
The thing is, mate, I'm a Sheffield United fan. I've watched this all season, and I don't know what he's going to do in this game. Yeah. So me asking you is maybe a daft thing to do. So what I will ask you, Joe, is what are you going to go for? And I've got a graphic here for you, so you can just talk through it on screen.
Yeah, so Pascal Strout got an injury a couple of weeks back and hasn't started in the league since. But he came off the bench and got 2 lovely goals against Sunderland. So I think he will now be deemed fit enough to start, which means Ampadu then moves into his preferred position in this Leeds United setup of midfield, which I'm excited to see alongside Tanaka, which is probably harsh on Rothwell, given Rothwell's contribution off the bench with the 2 assists for Strouk against Sunderland, and the manager talked him up loads. But I just think in this game away from home, we're more likely to see a more defensive-minded midfield. I'm going to go with that. I think the 3 behind Pirot picks itself at the minute. As I said, Solomon and James have been different gravy of late. James probably playing the best football of his career. Aronson will just run about all day, and we don't have a number 10 outside of him, so he always plays. And then Joel Pirot, who has had flack a lot of times in the 2 seasons he's been here, but he's really started to find form. He's got more assists this season than he's ever had, which is mad. I know it's only 6, but it just shows he's improved. And I think, I don't know how many goals he's on now, maybe 14, 15, but I think he'll be on course for a 20-goal season. So yeah, I think that's a very strong lineup, and we have quite a strong bench as well. But yeah, look, you could see Ampadu staying centre back, and that means probably Gruev comes in midfield. But if Strout's deemed fit enough, I think he'll start, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want this to be all about Leeds are great, but I just want to bring up some stats from FotMob. You rated number 1 on actual match ratings. Goals per game, number 1. Goals conceded per game, very, very close, but second. First in average possession, second in clean sheets, first in expected goals. It's first across the board for most of it. It sounds very exciting. You're buzzing. You got a big smile on your face. What I'm going to ask you now is, though, it leads in perfectly to my question. Why have you not run away with this league already? Why have you not pulled away from the pack?
Yeah,
you can't say Melier. You can't say Melier. That's not allowed. Okay.
Yeah, well, he has cost us in 2 games.
Yeah.
We should have beat Sunderland. We should have. Like, we've all seen how bad that was. It's hard. I mean, we didn't get started out of the gate as much as many of us would have liked. We conceded a lot early doors. We conceded 3 on the opening day against Portsmouth. We conceded 3 in the cup to Borough. And then he went and would argue he's quite risk averse anyway, but he went more risk averse. Like, we went to West Brom against Corberan and just played that stinking 0-0, didn't even try win the game, but he wanted to stem the bleeding because we conceded so much. Look, I've maintained for a while now, this is where we'll turn the screw, and I think by the end of the season we'll have 10+ point gap.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's big, isn't it? It is big. Yeah. It is bold. I'm known for being bold, but
You're
not
definitely known for being bold. Yeah, that's true.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that was the joke we were going for, but I just hit it home.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is where we really start to pick up. I don't know, to be honest, why we're only 3 points better off than we were this time last season. And obviously, but the big thing for me, Nick, is if we're 3 points better off, we should hit that 90-point mark. If you hit 90 points, you're going up. I think this season anyway, I don't see, I've heard people say, oh, 4 will get 90 and stuff. I'm like, no, they won't. I just don't see it this season. Burnley draw too much. Sunderland haven't got enough for me anyway. I think it'll be us, to be honest. I'm quite content with it being us first. Look, get to game 40, and then we can talk about the title and see who's going to get the title. But I think
no point talking about it. You just got to pull away from third, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
By the way, Hal's lost his head straight away. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. You love to see it, the scenes. I just thought I'd bring that up because, I was chuckling to it while you were talking. Sorry about that. We'll get on to talking about score predictions and how you see the game later on. I was going to do a whole bit like Hal does about the ref. It's David Webb. There you go. I'm not going to go into stats and stuff like that.
We did actually have our referee changed for the last game because he's a blade.
Who was that? Uriah Renner? I didn't know he was still doing stuff.
No, fans in the chat will be able to tell me. So we had Atwell in the end, but there was another guy who was originally down to ref it. Then it got changed. Someone let me know in that Pawson.
Need to get him on the channel. Sounds like a good
guy.
Yeah,
well, that's what we were told because he was originally, and then it got changed to Atwell. So
Right, interesting.
It is a bit mad that he was going to be reffing that game, to be honest, if we're being totally honest. Of
course. So, but this day and age, you don't know most people don't know who refs support, and they should all be unbiased. They've got to be. It's like when players playing against the team that they supported growing up, you wouldn't play worse against a team that you grew up supporting. You wouldn't think anyway. But let's stop talking about the here and now. That's boring. Let's talk about old times because me and you are quite old, aren't we? I don't know how old you are exactly, but
37, mate. 37.
Yeah, so am I. What year were we born in? Sorry,
88.
Okay, I'm 87, so yeah. Anyway, let's talk about some older games, some memorable memories. And my memorable memory for Sheffield United versus Leeds is actually Leeds versus Sheffield United at Ellen Road when we beat you 4-0 in 2005. What a fantastic game. I'm not going to talk about Basham arriving because 4-0. And the reason why I'm going through this one is because the scorers that day, Danny Webber after 2 minutes, which obviously sent us into raptures, but Leeds-born Nick Montgomery, who was a bit of a Blades legend, scored, and he never scored. And then I think it was 2 goals, a brace from Andy Gray, who later played for Leeds as well.
Yeah. Whose son's just gone to Spurs, by the way.
Yes, I did know that. Is he also Eddie Gray's nephew?
Yes, that's right.
Have I just made that up?
No, they're all related. Yeah, they were actually at the game against Sunderland the other night, the Greys, to be honest. We've got young Harry Gray, by the way.
Wow.
Harry Gray, who's on the cusp. Watch out for him. Better than his brother by all accounts. So,
let's see. You need to remember that, guys. So what's your memorable memory, as we're calling it these days?
Do you know what? Listen, as I've done this before. My memory's not the best, right? We've been here before. So I have gone for a more recent memory, and it was at Bramall Lane, where it was my first time doing YouTube, and I was giving it the whole, it's written in the stars. And one of the reasons it was written in the stars was because Leeds United beat Sheffield United at Bramall Lane in the season that we'd won the division. And obviously Jack Clark scored the goal, Pablo Hernandez with the cross. And I was thinking at that stage, that's it, we're doing it, we're going to do it. Then obviously later on, Basham arriving happened and you had your moment, didn't you? But that whole season was quite enjoyable, the to-ing and throwing and the Wilder, the Muppets from Leeds, all that sort of stuff. So he's not like I'll tell you, see, I don't mind him, Nick. I don't mind him, but he did manage my hometown of Halifax as well. So like,
okay,
yeah, he did. He managed them, Halifax Town. So, but yeah,
I think if he's your manager and he's
Yeah,
beating his chest and giving it all that, you love Wilder, and especially with him being a blade. Obviously, we're all gonna jump on that bandwagon, and we've had a lot of we've been lucky that we've had Billy Sharp, we've had a lot of players that have come through the United ranks. A lot of Ollie Arblaster, for instance, is obviously injured at the moment, but we've had a hell of a lot of Sheffield lads come through the ranks and do really well and become sort of club legends. And obviously, Chris Wilder.
Hal mentioned the dream of maybe Kyle Walker returning, but that's not going to happen now. He's gone to Milan, is it? I don't think.
Well, no, you wouldn't have thought so, but you know, Kyle Walker will be rapping until he's 95 years old. So you never know. He might make a return at some point. I think we'll have to be a Premier League club for him to come back to Sheffield. But who wants to come back to Sheffield when you're in Milan?
Yeah, definitely. I know. I don't know if you saw his like debut game and he's drinking the water, you know, like he does in his sit.
Oh yeah, the Triple H thing, yeah.
And I just thought, like, for me, because I don't mind me wrestling even at 37, I was like, that is like top pick. Like you're there in the San Siro and they're doing a whole focus on you because you're spitting water and they're playing the game. I was like, that's like peaked. Yeah. Forget the treble. That's your peak.
Yeah, incredible. I get that. I absolutely get that. No, it did look really, really cool.
Cool, and, so good. Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. And as of late, he's been in the tabloids for all the wrong reasons. So he needs to have some.
Maybe being in Italy is a good thing. Get away from it for a bit, you know.
You don't want to be around these parts, around the north. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about player connections. Now, we normally give 4 player connections in this, and it's players that have played for both teams. And again, it's a bit of fun that we go back and have a look at players that have obviously not always done well for both clubs, sometimes done good for one club and not for others. So I think the ones that I've picked will have probably been really good for us and not necessarily as good for you. But let's see. First up, I've gone for Michael Brown. Now, Michael Brown was great for us even before he had that breakout season when he scored, I think it was 5,000 goals in one season from midfield, and everything he touched turned to gold. Michael Brown then ended up sort of, when he came back to you, he'd had a bit of time in the Premier League. Obviously, I think it was pretty much it was the Championship playing for you guys. But he went from being a goal scorer to being someone that liked to kick people. What was he like at Ellen Road?
He was a hatchet man. Yeah, he was just a hatchet man.
But he wasn't, though. He wasn't back in the day. You need to go back and watch that season.
Did he come through at City? Yeah. But,
he did.
Yeah, I always remember the challenge. I think we were playing Sheff Wednesday, and it's literally like scissor height near enough. Like it's bad. We had such a bad team though. Like Michael Tong was also there, who's another that obviously.
I love how you're saying bad players and you're saying good players that have been good for us. It's upsetting.
No. I've got I wanted to sort of rub salt into the wounds, and I wanted to mention Jaden Bogle just because. Oh my god! Like, what a player! Isn't it? Like, such a lot of Sheffield United fans told us that he couldn't defend, and I allowed it to shroud my judgment slightly in the opening couple of games. But now, no, he's been great for us. Genuinely.
Yeah, because he's good at going forward. He's not good at defending.
I suppose we'll get exposed. Will he get exposed in the Prem? Is what you're telling me?
Right. Okay. I'll be honest with you. Probably, but last season was his best season for us. He was really, really good when Wilder came in. It had some really big purple patches for United where every time he got the ball, he skinned someone. But then he'd get injured and then come back, and it'd take him a while to get back to how good he was before. And everything was slow and wait, like kind of tripping over the ball because he's ready to try and take someone on, and he's just not got that confidence. And then he came back from injury, I believe, last season. And it was just a different man under Wilder. He was winning every header. He was winning every challenge. He was all over the place. And I think we expected him this season to just be incredible. And it was finally realizing his potential. And then he went to Leeds, and that was fun. That was a really, really fun time.
Reception. Will he get
probably? But
yeah.
I don't necessarily. It's only because he's gone to Leeds. Like, I don't think he's necessarily hated. But I think he'll still probably get a bit of a boo. Wilder got a boo when he came back with Middlesbrough. So he will get a boo, but I don't think people actually hate the man.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Ampadu as well then? Because obviously he came on and I think he got relegated like 3 times or whatever before he's found a bit of a home at Leeds United. But he's been playing him in midfield, and I really rate him. But you don't have good memories of him.
No, really bad memories. But mostly, I thought because I used to work in Castleford and now I work in Wakefield. So a lot of people around me are Leeds fans, and I've always said that the reason why Ampadu's done so well is because he's dropped down a level. Like, I don't know how good he's going to be in the Premier League, but we had him on loan from Chelsea. He was very, very mediocre. I wouldn't say he was terrible, but he was extremely mediocre and on the poor side. He just didn't. We played him at centre back a lot. I don't think he played much in the midfield, and we played a back 5 back then. And I'm trying to remember whether he played centre back or right centre back, because we had so many injuries that season. I think Jags played some games at centre back as well. It was such a bad season. And actually, Ampadu signed on the day that Bogle signed and Max Lowe signed. So believe it or not, they've obviously got that little bit of a connection there as well. But no, I've never really rated Ampadu, but fair play. He's obviously dropped down in division and found some form. And it's always nice when people find a home as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think like he spent some time over in Italy as well. And I think a lot of people sort of misprofile him as a centre-back maybe. And I know he's played there a lot for Leeds, but that's due to injuries. I think in the 6 in midfield, he's been top notch. Yeah, I've got just while I'm a member as well, because a few people have mentioned. Look, I've even got one. Here's another that played for both.
Nice.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Very good, very good. Except for he's got a Leeds kit on instead.
Yeah.
Another one. Let's pop him on screen right now. Friend of the channel, Paddy Kenny. Now, he was very good for Sheffield United. Ended up being a hate figure for the wrong reasons. But he ended up at Leeds. I guess that was in the Neil Warnock days. I'm saying I guess. I know it was in the Neil Warnock days, because he ended up signing Brownie, Tonge, getting the band back together. Lee Bromby as well. Lots of them.
Yeah. Whenever I think of Warnock, it gives me shivers, just because of he swapped Luciano Becchio for Steve Morrison, and that just will always go down bad for me. But Paddy Kenny, like I said, grew up round the corner from me, actually, to be fair. So he again, there's always that clip of him training. You know, when he
really fat.
But he said he didn't look like that on a pot. I think he was on Under the Cosh, didn't he? And he said it was a bit dodge. But I know Warnock banned him from Halifax for a period because he was getting in a lot of bother as well, I think, at times.
Yeah.
Outside curry huts and stuff. And then he had all that stuff with his best friend. He's a bit of a wild character.
He's a lad. He's a
proper lad.
He's a proper lad. Was he any good for Leeds, though?
Nah, not really. No one in that period comes out with any good credit. Really. No.
Fair enough. I'm gonna quicken this up now, and we'll talk about a few managers, because there's a few managers across the divide as well. So we've got obviously Neil Warnock we've been speaking about. Someone that's probably going to be one of your favourites of all time. We've got Kevin Blackwell in there as well. I had to bring that in. And somebody that you'll love even more in Paul Heckingbottom. And I made sure I got that promoted flag in there as well. That's obviously
Whitball, we outball. Whitball, we outball. That's all he ever says.
Oh God, love it. Love a bit of Hecke. And you lost to Preston, didn't you? Was it under Hecke? Or was it a draw?
I think so. Did we draw? I'm not sure. To be honest, my memory is that bad. When you mentioned the goal, when you mentioned the goal from the set piece, I was like, well, this season I was thinking, did we score from a set piece 2-0? I can't remember.
But you remember that Shackleton played for us, but you don't remember the goal.
Yeah, I remember
the game.
Shackleton because I was like, why is he playing Shackleton?
Yeah.
So it was 1-1 at Deepdale. Someone's just said in the chat. Yeah, do you know what? When Heckingbottom came in from Barnsley, I was actually quite hyped because he'd worked with like Alfie Mawson and he'd worked with John Stones at Barnsley, and I was thinking, oh, he knows a young player. I think we'd had Thomas Christensen before that. And it just didn't go well at all, did it? And yeah, and then less said about the other two, the better. I think it's Warnock's the only Yorkshire club that he's like done shit at, I think, with Leeds, maybe. We don't have great, yeah.
No, to be honest, mate, all those three managers did quite well for Sheffield United. I think Kevin Blackwell certainly not remembered for good reasons, but he got us to a playoff final, which I'm pretty sure he did that with you as well, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun. He loves getting to playoff finals. Kevin Blackwell just struggles to win them. Anyway, let's move on to talking about score predictions now. And first and foremost, if you like to support the channel, make sure you go over to patreon.com/Sheff United Way, and you will end up on here. So Meeksy has gone for 3-1 Blades. So does Richard. So does Lewis, with Harmer, Ben Brereton Diaz, and Campbell. Lots of Sheffield United fans thinking we're going to score 3 goals in this game. Fair play. 2-0 Ash has gone for the Blades. Ray and James Cheatham's gone for 1-0. We've got a few draws in here. 2-2 Greg. 1-0 says Chris, Justin, and James. Ben's gone for a 2-1 loss. Very, very interesting. I think that's the only one that I saw that was a loss, other than Ole from this channel. He's gone for a 3-1 Leeds win. And the reason for that is because he went for a 3-1 Borough win when we beat him 3-1, and he's trying to go for a bit of reverse psychology. So don't read into that too much, Joe, all right?
Yeah. In terms of, to be honest, Nick, I think it's going to be 0-0.
Could be.
I think both managers, I think we'll be feeling each other out. It'll be pretty risk averse. Then as the game goes on, and then the manager will go, could I throw Ben Brereton Diaz? Could I throw Raksaki on? Could I throw Nonto on? Or will that potentially leave gaps at the back? Do you know what? I'm going to leave it as it is. And I just could see 0-0. Because I think Burnley will drop points tomorrow against Wednesday. I think
Wednesday been doing well. Wednesday have been doing well.
Yeah, and they're good away from home. So they probably won't score, but no one scores against Burnley, but they don't score, do they? So 2-0 on the bounce. Yeah.
No one scores against Burnley, Joe. What is going on? What is happening? This is the weirdest defense I've ever seen.
Like that, but they're so painful to watch.
Yeah.
So painful.
Yeah, I always think that the first thing you need to do is stop conceding goals, and the goals will come. But right now, it seems like it's the opposite. And I was watching one of Viz's videos, the Burnley fan, and he said that the fact that Burnley won 2 games right at the start of the season, something ridiculous. I think they scored like 13 goals, but something really ridiculous in like 2 games. And since then, they've been averaging a goal a game, I think it is, which is really bad for someone that is so high up in the division. So it is wild, though. That
it's a manager. That's what he does. He's rubbish. I really don't rate him at all. I think he's rubbish. He's boring. The reason they scored so many early on is probably because they were still playing the company way for a little bit, and then he's got his claws into them and gone, nah, we don't play that way anymore.
No, pass backwards. Get it back to keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is crazy.
And he'll get sacked if they get promoted. It is what it is. Yeah.
He'll get sacked before a ball's kicked, do you reckon?
I don't know about that, but I can see, right? This is my prediction. It's like Leeds, Sheffield United, and then Burnley 0-0 all the way to the playoff final and win on pens, like Huddersfield did that time.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could happen. Weirder things have happened. Is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to that might, do one of those crazy things and go, finish 6th and then win it from nowhere?
No, I can't see it.
No.
No.
Do you know what? Below the top 4, maybe Coventry are looking quite good. Below the top 4, I'm not worried about playing anyone.
No. Do you think as well now, I think it's the three that have gone up look like they're going to come down. The strongest teams, bar Luton, have been those that have been in the Premier League in recent times, or they've had enough money to get a top coach in like a Sunderland or Reggie Labrie. So I just think that we're in the dangerous place of just going up, down, like I hope someone can break the cycle, because it's not looking good at the minute, is it? In terms of you go up for a season, you come back down. You go up for a season, it's not great.
No, and eventually, look at what happened with Farker at Norwich. Like, eventually, you don't go back up. They were a really, really good yo-yo team. They're probably the best yo-yo team I've seen in a while. And eventually, you have to move on from players. Like we had a massive squad rebuild. We had such a good spine to that team with sort of John Egan, Ollie Norwood, Billy Sharp, these sorts of players. And eventually, you've got to move on, and you've got to try something different. And like you say, like you guys have got more money than we have, but I'm not sure with the new owners, but it might be your time if you get promoted. It might be our time if we get promoted. But the scary thing is, if you do a Nottingham Forest and it goes wrong, what could happen then?
Yeah, exactly. You are. I'd prefer to keep a core nucleus and just add to it rather than do what Forest did, to be honest. But yeah. We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
I think we've shown in the January transfer window that too many players throwing them all in at the same time does not necessarily work. They've got to have time to gel. We threw a lot of players in straight away. And I think it's managers do this quite a lot, where like they say to the owner, I need that player. I need that player. I need that player. And then it's like, I feel like I have to start them now. And then Wilder went back to basics against Borough and played the players that got us there. And the rest history. We won 3-1. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. I think we're gonna leave it there pretty much, Joe. I've really enjoyed this. We've not really done a normal preview. I've just really enjoyed just chatting about Leeds and Sheffield United. Two guys that can have a bit of banter, but also can be really level-headed and not go crazy, because some of the comments from Leeds fans in the last few days has been wild. If you want to go back on that video and check out some of the Leeds comments, they are fantastic to read.
They'll know that now. They know that they're getting to you, Nick. Then they'll just do it more.
Please
just keep it for the wraps.
No, please do, because it does wonders for the video. Like,
there you go.
Lots of views, lots of comments, dislike the video if you want. Go and dislike the video. It helps it no end. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us here today. Thank you, Joe. If you want to go over to the Just Joe Football Show, please do. Laugh at him when Sheffield United have beaten Leeds 4-0 by Tuesday morning. And thank you very much, Joe. And I'll catch you soon.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Ollie, ollie, ollie.